So I have a question for you. Was there a mentor in your life, let's say during the teenage years, it could even be your parents, where you saw their life, either the observation or a conversation that helped you say, okay, I think I have something big inside of me? Because as I study you, you're doing big things in the world and you're helping us change. But back then, you were just a whole lot of potential. Was there a mentor back then that helped you?
Yes. I had a mentor in high school, Mrs. Gordon, my social studies teacher, who pushed me really hard. Sometimes she would even give me a bit of a lower grade when I knew that I had done among the very best in the class, because she told me she was grading me against my own potential. And that was a really powerful message for me. I felt like it called me higher. And the thing about somebody seeing your potential and calling you higher in one area of life is that it doesn't just stay in that area, it expands. I see that now with the, young adults that I have the privilege to teach, how if I show them what I see in the mirror, their expansive potential in this one area, I watch as then they go on to shine in all kinds of areas. And it's just me trying to pass on what Mrs. Gordon did for me in high school.
Yeah, and thank you for giving a shout out to Mrs. Gordon. So, but this idea of potential, as you know, it means possibilities, capabilities, what can actually happen. And as a person that life coaches a lot of people, I see that somebody's potential must be found, it must be understood, and it must be utilized. So how did you start to find your potential as a leader, not just somebody who was good at school? I think part of it is the answer you gave me earlier, where you were good at debate, okay?
Yeah.
But tell me a little more about how you started to find that potential and you started then to work that potential and put the potential to use, to utilize it.
I think I kept asking myself a question. What else might I do? What else might I be capable of? And I got to college, I got to Georgetown, and most people don't know this, but I felt pretty socially shy. I was a pretty bookish kid. I was great on my feet giving a speech, but struggled sometimes to introduce myself to people. And so I decided that I was going to run for student government, and I was going to knock on every door in the freshman class. And I did it. And every floor I finished, I would go into the ladies' bathroom and kind of cry because it was a lot, and wipe my face and go to the next one. And I got on to student government just because I knocked on everybody's door in the class. And then I realized that when I was engaged in issues I cared about, and I was doing something that I felt a purpose connected to it, I had a lot to say and I could meet people. And so I just kept asking that question, what else? I did this, what else might I be able to do? And it's a question that I'm continuing to ask myself even today. I learned something new that I never thought I'd be able to do just in the last month, and I'm almost 50 years old.
Yes. So in studying you for these hours that I have the last 2 days, I do see this persistence. So I want to know where that comes from. Is it innate or is it learned behavior? What has given you the ability to push through challenges? Because you talk even about your height. We don't have to say how tall or how not tall you are, but you mentioned it in one of the interviews. But in everything that you do, the way I see it as like a therapist is that you got this kind of this inner grit about you that you're like, somehow, some way, I'm going to get through this. Is it more innate or is it more learned? What do you think?
I think it's a virtuous cycle. I mean, I do think, Tim, that I'm a little stubborn. And I definitely get that from both of my parents, especially my dad. My dad was one of the most stubborn people on this earth. He's probably bugging some folks up in heaven as we speak. But I think I grew up with just this feeling that if somebody told me I couldn't do something, I was going to make them eat those words, you know? And even if the person was me, frankly, even if I was the one that was saying, I'm not sure I can do this, or I don't think I can do this, that I had kind of a rebellious streak where I was going to prove them wrong. So I think I had a bit of stubborn genetics. And then once I did something, I thought, well, darn, okay, I did that. Felt really great. What's next? And I love adventure. I love change. I love achievement, like that feeling of, really getting into something new and not being so great at first and gradually figuring it out. And that's been all the way through. I don't know if we're going to talk about the TED Talk, but I even thought maybe I'm a professional speaker, but I'm not sure I'm cut out for standing on a red dot. I'm not sure that's really where I'm going to shine, until one day when I thought, maybe I could do this.